Right, so I've got a sort of idea that's forming in my head, and I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I kind of just want to talk about it. So it seems to me that we are highly likely to be headed towards a second lockdown in the UK, and Boris Johnson has already been talking about how that will be a social lockdown. So you would be banned from meeting up with people, from visiting people's houses or whatever, all this kind of stuff. Mixing of households would be banned, but they would keep bars and restaurants and businesses open. And first of all, I just wonder who was consulted about this order of priorities, because I don't know, for me, seeing my friends is more important than going to the pub. And it seems like we're creating quite a weird situation in which it will be illegal to hug people that you care about, but, you know, elite boxers are still allowed to smash each other in the face. And that doesn't seem like the right set of priorities. And I know that people will say, well, it's about keeping the economy open because, you know, the economy, so many of us are dependent upon the economy. And first of all, for those of us in the entertainment industry, yeah, we know, and we're waiting for some help to bail us out of this situation. Actually, thank you. But also, the only reason that everybody is so dependent on the economy is because that's the kind of society that we have chosen to build, and we can unbuild it in a matter of days if we choose to, simply by creating a proper welfare net that's going to pick everybody up, bring in universal basic income. We don't have to live short-term or long-term in a world where the economy becomes the number one priority for people's well-being, because it shouldn't be, and in fact, for most people, it isn't. At the same time, we've got students who've just arrived at university being immediately shoved into halls of residence and locked down with security guards outside, which strikes me as sort of like martial law being enforced. I understand if you tell people you need to isolate, we believe that you may have been exposed, track and trace, blah, blah, blah. But if I get that message from track and trace and the next thing you know, there's an armed police officer outside my house, I'll be pretty bloody unhappy about it. I don't believe that's the way we should do things. And you've got to remember, the students in those blocks of accommodation who are vulnerable because they have other medical conditions, they may not have COVID themselves, and they may urgently want to leave and go and self-isolate somewhere else. They don't have that freedom. And there's students in there who haven't got enough food, and they can't get a delivery slot, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. We knew this would happen when we sent students back. Why did we send students back? Oh, because the government wants the students to pay their tuition fees, to borrow the money, so that then the students, the whole thing is a mess, and it's all about them prioritising money over things that really, really matter to people. At the same time, in the US, we just had that first presidential debate, and, you know, I as far as the US presidential race goes, I mean, first of all, just vote for Joe Biden because he's not Donald Trump. If you're able to vote, register to vote and vote for Joe Biden because he's not Donald Trump. That, you know, that's the only information I have about who to vote for. But when you look at the debate, the other thing that comes out of it is that kind of discourse, the way that Trump was just screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and not listening and not even saying things that were true or that even made sense, and just that bluster and shouting. And between that and the way we're treating students and the way that we're choosing priorities when it comes to a second lockdown, it seems to me that what's missing in all this is kindness and niceness and warmth and compassion. And, you know, I remember not so long ago, people were saying about, for example, Jeremy Corbyn, but lots of politicians and people in the public eye get this, like, oh, he's too nice for politics. That's the trouble. You've got to be tough for politics. You've got to be brutal. You've got to be ready to weather the thing and this kind of stuff. And I don't want to live in a world where the only people who can be in charge are the ones that are hardy and brutal and nasty and obsessed with business and money. I want us to live in a world where there are more options than that, and we can express more compassion than that. And I don't quite know how that has slipped through our fingers, but I know that when I put these videos out, you know, look down and there'll be people saying the most horrible things, page after page of it. And I just wonder what happened to us not tolerating that and not being willing to live like that and wanting something better so that everybody in our society can be a part of it and can participate without feeling, yeah, so I don't know what I'm saying, but it's something about what happened to being nice. Can it come back, please? Can we build this world where it's legal to hug people? In fact, what we should do, obviously, is start up a British board of hugging and define hugging as an elite sport. And anyone would be able to apply to become an elite hugger, you know, particularly if you've got long arms and very soft skin and maybe a nice downy beard or something. And then technically it would be a professional sport and you'd be allowed to do it again. Either that or get your friends to dress up as grouse. I don't know. I've lost my thread, but the world is going in the wrong direction and we need to fix it somehow. And suggestions on a postcard, please.